What would you do if a cold case in your quiet little town suddenly erupted with shocking truths years after everyone thought justice had been served? For one grieving family, answers came far too late, and the revelations were nothing short of horrifying. Welcome to Crime Tales Today. We dive into a case that proves the old saying, justice delayed is justice denied. But in this case, justice, when it finally came, brought answers nobody could have imagined. It was 2008 in the quiet, picturesque town of Millstone, where time seemed to flow gently, unhurried by the chaos of the outside world. Nestled amidst rolling hills and lush greenery, this was a town where everyone knew each other by name. The local coffee shop buzzed with friendly chatter, children played tag in the parks, and neighbors stopped by unannounced to share homemade pies. But on a crisp October morning, the serenity of Millstone was shattered. 20-year-old Emily Carter, a promising college student known for her bright smile and caring nature, had disappeared. Emily was the kind of person everyone admired, the daughter of a local school teacher and a retired firefighter. She had grown up in Millstone and was cherished by all who knew her. Emily's life revolved around her studies, her close-knit family, and her small group of friends. She was known for her volunteer work at the town's animal shelter and her passion for photography, often seen with her camera slung over her shoulder as she captured the beauty of Millstone. On the night of her disappearance, Emily had been at the university library preparing for midterms. She sent a quick text to her roommate around 10:15 p.m., saying she'd be home soon, but Emily never made it home. When Emily's roommate woke up the next morning and realized she hadn't returned, she called Emily's parents. Alarm bells went off immediately. Emily was reliable to a fault. She wouldn't just vanish without a word. Her family reported her missing to the Millstone Police Department within hours. The police, initially treating it as a routine missing persons case, began by retracing her last known steps. Several students at the library confirmed seeing Emily that night. One remembered her leaving around 10:30 p.m. Security cameras outside the library captured Emily walking toward the main road, her backpack slung over one shoulder. After that, the trail went cold. Emily's phone pinged near Millstone's outskirts around 11 p.m., but then went silent, leaving no trace of her whereabouts. As news of Emily's disappearance spread, the entire town mobilized. Hundreds of volunteers joined search parties, scouring forests, fields, and abandoned buildings. Flyers with Emily's smiling face were plastered on every lamppost and storefront. Her parents, Sarah and David Carter, appeared on local news stations, pleading for anyone with information to come forward. Sarah, her voice trembling, begged, "If you've seen Emily or know anything, no matter how small, please help us bring our daughter home." The Millstone Police Department quickly expanded their search. Despite their limited resources, they brought in state authorities to assist. Investigators delved into Emily's life, looking for any clues that might explain her sudden disappearance. Emily's friends were interviewed extensively. They all described her as happy and focused, with no signs of trouble in her personal life. The Carters were a loving family with no history of conflict. There was no evidence to suggest Emily had run away. Emily had recently broken up with her boyfriend, Jake Henderson, a fellow college student. Though the breakup had been amicable, police questioned Jake thoroughly. He provided a solid alibi, confirmed by his roommates. With no clear leads, investigators began looking into anyone who might have had a motive to harm Emily. Despite Jake's alibi, police initially viewed him with suspicion. He was cooperative but visibly shaken by the accusations. Investigators eventually ruled him out after verifying his whereabouts. A rumor circulated that Emily had argued with a librarian over a late book fee the week before her disappearance. This turned out to be baseless gossip, but it consumed valuable time as police looked into the claim. A few witnesses reported seeing an unfamiliar man near the library on the night Emily vanished. Sketches were drawn, and the man was identified as a traveling salesman passing through town. He too was cleared of involvement. Weeks turned into months, and despite exhaustive efforts, the case remained unsolved. Police followed every lead, from anonymous tips to psychics offering visions of Emily's whereabouts, but none panned out. The town of Millstone grew restless. Many criticized the police for their inability to solve the case, while others speculated wildly about what might have happened. Some believed Emily had been abducted by someone passing through town. Others theorized she might have been targeted by someone she knew, perhaps a secret admirer or someone with an unspoken grudge. A few whispered darker rumors about cults or organized crime, though these were dismissed as baseless fears. Emily's parents were devastated. Sarah Carter admitted in an emotional interview, "Every time the phone rings, I hope it's Emily. Every time there's a knock at the door, I pray she's come home." But as the days go by, it gets harder to hold on to hope. Where do you think Emily go? Leave your comments and thoughts below. Fast forward to 2015, 7 years after Emily's disappearance. A construction crew digging up an old drainage pipe in a wooded area just outside of town uncovered a shallow grave. Inside were human remains, and it didn't take long for the DNA test to confirm they belonged to Emily Carter. The news reignited the community's anguish. Who had done this? Why was Emily buried here? Investigators were under immense pressure to find answers. Emily's family, heartbroken but hopeful for closure, pleaded for anyone with information to come forward. But here's where things get even more chilling. The autopsy revealed Emily had been strangled. This wasn't just a case of someone hiding a body, it was premeditated murder. As the investigation reopened, a crucial lead came in from an unexpected source. A former high school janitor who had worked at Emily's school was arrested for an unrelated assault in a nearby town. When police searched his belongings, they found something that sent shivers down their spines. A notebook with entries that described Emily in unnervingly intimate detail. One entry stood out. "She knows too much. It has to end." This man, Stephen Hayes, was a reclusive figure in Millstone. Few people remembered him, but those who did described him as quiet, odd, and prone to angry outbursts. He had worked at Emily's school during her teenage years and left under mysterious circumstances after a confrontation with a teacher. The discovery of the notebook was the turning point the case desperately needed. When Stephen Hayes, a former janitor at Emily's high school, was arrested for an unrelated assault. No one suspected he might hold the key to solving Emily's murder. But during a routine search of his belongings, detectives stumbled upon a chilling piece of evidence: a notebook filled with obsessive and sinister entries about Emily. The police were horrified as they read through the pages. Hayes had documented details of Emily's life that only someone watching her closely could know. Her routines, her favorite hangouts, even personal secrets she had never shared publicly. The most disturbing entry of all was short but devastating. "She knows too much. It has to end." Detectives began piecing together a timeline. Hayes' obsession with Emily likely began when she was still in high school. He followed her movements, recording every detail in his notebook. After her disappearance, Hayes vanished from Millstone, taking his dark secrets with him. Confronted with the notebook, Hayes denied any involvement in Emily's murder. But inconsistencies in his alibi began to surface. Surveillance footage from the night of Emily's disappearance revealed a car matching the description of Hayes' vehicle near the park where she was last seen. Moreover, forensic testing uncovered traces of Emily's DNA on items recovered from Hayes' garage. What really sealed the case, however, was a witness who came forward, a retired teacher from Emily's school. She recalled seeing Hayes arguing with Emily outside the school just weeks before her disappearance. The argument, though brief, had unsettled her. As the evidence mounted, Hayes' calm facade began to crack. Under pressure during an intense interrogation, he finally confessed. He admitted to luring Emily to a secluded spot on the pretense of wanting to apologize for past behavior. When she rejected him and threatened to report his harassment, he snapped. His confession revealed a cold, calculated plan to silence her forever. In 2018, Stephen Hayes was convicted of Emily Carter's murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. The trial was an emotional roller coaster for Emily's family and the Millstone community. Many felt relief that the killer had finally been caught, but others couldn't shake the feeling that this justice had come far too late. Emily's parents have since become advocates for missing persons cases, urging families never to give up hope. They believe that no case should ever go cold and that every missing person deserves to be found. What are your thoughts on this case? Should communities be doing more to protect young women from predators like Hayes? And how can law enforcement ensure that cases like Emily's don't go unsolved for so long? Let us know in the comments below. We want to hear your opinions. And if you're captivated by stories like these, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We share compelling tales of crime and justice every week, and you won't want to miss a single one.